Happy New Year. It's Holden with Run Pure Sports. I got my cash and GPP plays. We're going to put it on one succinct video here. And let me tell you, I got some wackiness ensuing. But first, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't already joined Run Pure Sports, go to runpuresports.com, and you will get some great premium shows. Now, for Week 17, and I'm sure for the playoffs too, we'll be doing the final countdown. JSU and I will break it down from every angle leading up to lock. And if you play NBA, you get the final countdown NBA style, Monday through Friday, leading you right up to lock, about an hour beforehand. Plus, we got the Wood Show, which is free, leads right into us. Just check out our great stuff at runpuresports.com. Without further ado, let's get into my two quarterback plays, and we'll start at cash, and you can GPP him as well. His name is Lamar Jackson, and he's taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. He's 8K on DK. He's 9K on FanDuel. He's averaging 12.25 rushing attempts per game his last 8. The Cincinnati defense stinks. Cornerback William Jackson, who really is their shadow corner, he's in concussion protocol. That's not good for them. I got no concern about him getting just 14.5 fantasy points against Cincinnati Week 4. He was injured back then. And speaking of 4, his last 4 games, 27.7 fantasy points per game. That's about almost 6 points higher than what he's done on the season. All right, let's take a look at LA Rams quarterback John Wolford. Who? John Wolford. Oh, yeah. Jared Goff is out. Wolford will be going against the Arizona Cardinals, 4.9K on DK, 6.5 on FanDuel. Oh, it's a big revenge game for him, too. He was with the Arizona Hotshots of the AAF, and now he's going back and playing the Cardinals. Obviously, that has nothing to do with each other, but Arizona has allowed the 3rd most rushing yards to quarterbacks. I like that. John Wolford is a guy that likes to run. He did it at Wake Forest. He did it in the AAF. We'll see if he could do it this week. He's a free square on DK. All right, let's move on to the running back position now. And cash, GPP, it don't matter. Anything you want to put him in. Derrick Henry against Houston. Let's do this. Last 2 games against Houston, one this year, one last year. He has run for over 200 yards in each game. He owns these guys. He's their daddies. 9.4 on DK, 10.2 on FanDuel, and I think he's going to be worth it. I think I'm going to be trying to jam him and DAVANTE in the same lineups this week, get some value elsewhere. Last 2 games, again, 212 and 2 touchdowns against Houston Week 5. This year, last year, 211 and 3 touchdowns. Houston 31st, giving up 151.7 rushing yards per game. A lot of that came from Derrick Henry. And our boy Derrick Henry is averaging 118 rush yards per game. So I like that, and I like that a lot. Then we'll go to Jonathan Taylor, the Colts running back, taking on the awful Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Here's what I love about him, besides for being 7.4 on DK, 8.4 on FanDuel. He is saying that it'd be really special to get to 1,000 yards rushing. Well, guess what? He's almost there. He's at 916. So at the very least, he's going to get us 84, 85 yards, right? He's got at least 55% of the snaps in 3 straight weeks. The Jags are 30th against the run, giving up 145 yards per game. And in their last 3, 178.7. He has 5 touchdowns in his last 3 games, 11 attempts inside the 5. That is 8th among running backs. And remember, he missed some time and wasn't even the lead dog there for a while. So Jonathan Taylor is my boy there. Cash and GPP, I think Davante Adams, he fits the bill once again. How do you not worry about this? Green Bay looking to lock up the number 1 seed. Don't worry about it. Chicago, he'll take care of them. 9.2 on DK, 9.3 on FanDuel. Leads the National Football League in targets, 19, and receptions, 16, inside the 10-yard line. So inside the 10-yard line, 19 targets, 16 receptions, most in the NFL. Averaging 8.3 catches, 102 yards, and 1.3 TDs per game. This is ridiculous. Chicago held him in check. 6 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown in Week 12. I think he's going to go off. Another guy I think is going to go off is Justin Jefferson. He's taking on Detroit. He's 7.6 on DK. He's 8K on FanDuel, and he's 8th in air yards with 1,295. I like that. You know what's even better, though? Over the last 4 weeks, he's 4th in air yards. This is amazing. Double digits double-digit targets in 4 of his last 5 games. Detroit is 30th. Adjusted fantasy points against the wide receivers. We got a high total in this one, 54.5. Come on, let's not overthink this. Justin Jefferson's a nice play. And then over on the tight end side, I think George Kittle's going to be cash and GPP. And then when I get to Irv Smith, more of a GPP play, in my opinion. But Kittle against Seattle, he's just $6K on DraftKings. He's way too cheap. He's 6.8 on FanDuel. He's way too cheap. He's coming off those 6 missed games, and he still went for 4 catches off 5 targets, 92 yards against Arizona last week. He was injured against this Seattle team he'll be taking on this week. He was injured in the 4th quarter in week 8. Gets to come back now without the top 2 receiving targets and Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. He is the number 1 target in the passing game. He is my number 1 tight end. My second tight end here, and again, a little bit more GPP, would be Irv Smith Jr. Great matchup again. Take it on Detroit. This is why I like Justin Jefferson. I like Irv too. 3.9 on DK, 5.6 on FanDuel. Looking more here. 35% snaps 3 weeks ago. Then he goes up to 82% last week, 82% 2 weeks ago, 87% last week. The snaps are going up. He's 4th in fantasy points per game at tight end over the last 4 weeks at 15.4. No Kyle Rudolph again. Had 2 TDs against Detroit in week 9. Lions 28th in adjusted fantasy points against the tight end position. Don't overthink it. Want everybody to have an absolutely spectacular 2021. Even if it starts off slow, we're going to bounce back from this, everybody. Listen to Mr. Positivity over here. And again, if you haven't signed up, runpuresports.com. Check our content out, even if it's for a month. I've been cleaning up on the bet side too. Add the bet side for $20 a month if you're already a subscriber. Terrific stuff going on top to bottom. Thank you, Simon, for cutting this up behind the scenes. I'm Holden. We'll catch you next year or this year or whenever, sometime in 2021.